Hello and welcome to Lunchtime News. My name is Rhoda Ngonzi. We will dig into it. NRM candidate in the Kawempe North by-election, Farida Nambi, has exercised her constitutional right to vote for herself at Kawempe Mbogo Primary School. This was in the morning at 10 a.m. Thereafter interacted with the media on her plans for the constituency in the event that victory turns in her favor. Kawempe North constituency has 9 parishes and Perere with 6,864 registered voters, Komamboga with 10,633 registered voters, Kawempe 2 with 22,813 registered voters, Kazo with 20,071 registered voters, Kawempe 1, which is the biggest, with 40,466 registered voters, Kanyanya with 18,818 registered voters, Chikaya Parish with 18,735 registered voters, Waise 1 with 21,156 registered voters, and Chebando, the second largest, with 39,785 registered voters.
One more honorable here.
At the Mbogo Primary Playground, where I have already cast my vote at about 10:40, coming to 11. I am really hopeful that NRM, after 24 years of not having a member of parliament in this area, we are finally going to have a member of parliament. This is premised on the strategy or the plan we have used to mobilize. I have said that Honorable the late Sejirinya won with 44,000 votes, and we did a post-2021 election analysis that showed us that NRM members had not come out to vote. Many of them shunned the election and they cited intimidation and violence. We started with security to try and give our NRM leaders confidence. After that, we started mobilizing NRM members and non-NRM members using the strategy of door-to-door. We are doing this day and night, finding people in their homes and in their workplaces. We then went to segments. These are groups of people that do the similar kind of work. These are like prostitutes, taxi groups. These are like border borders, the ghetto groups. Just to mention but a few, there were over like 19 categories of segments that we went and met. We've also had candidate teams, NRM secretary teams. We are really grateful to the Prime Minister's teams. These are ministers and RDCs. Everybody has come. An NRM member, they are here. Many people, still even now, trying to mobilize people. Right today, we are doing last-minute mobilization to just make sure that our members are turning up to vote, but then also we are doing voter protection. That's what we're doing today.
Our campaign has been concentrating on the issues in the community. We have been able to identify the issues that affect our people. We have been able to discuss with our people on how we can be able to solve some of these issues, particularly when they vote for an NRM candidate. And I believe people have now realized that lies can never help them develop. They have had a lot of propaganda, a lot of lies from the opposition, and I think this is the time people have now understood and have appreciated that they need to work with the government in power. Now, we are remaining with just a short time to conclude this term, but it is the NRM government in power. So people have realized that if they vote for an NRM candidate, they will benefit. They will be able to probably get the services that they are expecting in the remaining time. So we are calling upon the people of Kawempe to ensure that they don't get deceived. They shouldn't be lied. They should vote for NRM. And I know they will vote for NRM. I know they have voted for NRM.
The elections are peaceful. People of Kawempe are appreciating the president for the good security. All polling stations are open. Boxes were open in presence of the community. Each candidate has a polling agent. There is no room for stealing. We shall have a transparent and free election. And for us as members of NRM, we are appealing to the voters and the young people to remain calm, but be vigilant. Let us watch these men who come with jackets. They come with votes. We should not allow them to come and stuff votes in the boxes. Just elections will be true, will be transparent, and will be fair. So my appeal to the young people in Kawempe, let them not participate in violence. Let them not participate in hooliganism. Let them focus. Let them cast their vote and go to work. They should not keep here. Let them go and work. They have their polling agents to keep their votes.
Uganda kubanga kimanyiddwa nti ajatimisa kabanda mwagisi wa ekindese wano basosere bangamba nti ekiri Kawempe Mbogo ku muzikiti abantu basazeeko nezijanda be basazeeko ngezo kulanga tewali mamba tewali yadde drone tewali ki kati nezijanda be ate nambya ngambya ajja kulondera nengamba kanzigenda bengezo kulaba nga buli kimu kiri safe. So nganzo omwagizi wa NRM ndi happy.
My name is Hope Bagota. I'm a senior human rights officer working with the Uganda Human Rights Commission in the Directorate of Monitoring and Inspections. As we are all aware, as the National Human Rights Institution, we have the mandate to monitor human rights situation in the country and report on the same. So ideally, our role is to look at how are the standards, the human rights standards, being enforced and implemented. And so today our observations so far, while we are observing the Kawempe North by-elections, we have observed that the places that have been gazetted for elections, or the different polling stations, they are wide enough and easily accessible by all people, regardless of their being differently abled.
Now, the embattled National Unity Platform hopeful contender in the Kawempe North by-election, Elias Nalukola, also made it to Kawempe Tula polling station at 10 a.m. to exercise his constitutional right to vote for the best candidate to vote for the best candidate in the Kawempe North parliamentary seat that fell vacant after the death of incumbent Mohammed Sajirinya. Nalukola assumed the flag bearership and candidature of the party after defeating his main rival in a televised public debate held at the NUP party headquarters at Makerere, Kavule in February this year. As to whether the trials of the campaign trail will garner a victory, sympathetic victory, nobody knows. However, after voting for himself, he also addressed the media outside the polling station. Let's take a look at that.
Already voted. I have voted in my favor, and I encourage all voters in Kawempe North to turn up and vote. Don't be intimidated by the presence of the armed men, numberless motor vehicles, but we are encouraging voters to turn up and vote. It is your right to participate in voting. We are also advising our political adversaries that we should let the will of the people reign.
And the Vice Chairman for the Central Buganda region, Godfrey Chiwanda Subi, is hopeful that NRM's preferred and hopeful candidate, Farida Nambi, will merge the victor in the ongoing by-election, voting for the Kawempe North parliamentary seat. Speaking in an interview, Chiwanda recounted grounds determining victory for the NRM party. Let's take a look.
Parties, how we behave, how we should talk, how we should not, to avoid violence in our country. So I call upon all political parties and all of you who are coming to vote, please keep peace. Keep peace. This is our country. We have nowhere to go. If we spoil it, We have nowhere to run to. This is the only country we have. We must keep it peaceful. You may win, you may not win, but at the end of the day, we must move on. So I want to call upon peace. People should be peaceful into this. Finally, to all of you, especially the young people, even if you're candidate, I know at times the young people, we become so furious when probably we are not, when we see we are losing, all that kind of thing. But this is not the end of the world. This, of course, this election is just going to take 9 months. Remember, by next year we shall be in another general election. Even the candidate that is going to win today will definitely participate in the general elections if he wishes to participate or if she wishes to participate. So I want to call upon Ugandans, let's keep peace, let's respect each other. This is our country. No, we don't have any other country. This is the only country we have. We must keep it peaceful.
Honorable, talking about peace, what are some of the criteria that you have put within your capacity to ensure that all political parties and all the other political leaders also follow the criteria that are put in place and the mandates as well? What needs to be done? Because if Ugandans are playing their role, then what about the political party leaders?
Yeah, first of all, what political party leaders are saying, as we have 26 registered political parties in the country, 26 registered political parties in the country. Some of them have no yet candidates. They have no members of parliament in the house, but they are registered parties. But of course, it's very important, you as a candidate, you as a chairman of a political party, the way you speak. If you speak peace, definitely it will come back to us. If we act peace, the security organs, the government, because government should always take charge. There's nothing that can happen and say we don't know who did this, because when people elect a government, they entrust you to keep them and their property. But of course, it's very important, you as Ugandans, that if the way we behave, of course, we have a code of conduct whereby if a political party has not behaved in the way it should behave, some of these political parties are going to be deregistered. So I'm here, this is a whole team, as observers, as NC National Consultative Forum, all the political parties are here represented. We are moving village to village, polling station per polling station. But the most important thing that we call upon all the party leaders, adhere to the code of conduct. If you don't adhere to the code of conduct, one, apart from being deregistered as a political party, but also there is also another step that we can have a very chaotic country, which does not only affect your party, but affect all of us.
Honorable, before I let you go, as an observer, what have you so far observed since morning?
Okay, now let's talk to Michael Jordan Lukomwa, who is in Kawempe at Chilokole Zone Tula. Michael Jordan.
In the middle of town.
Us on the situation of where you are since morning, leading up to this by-election. A lot of opposition candidates and opposition parliamentarians were a bit concerned about the security presence and whether there will be violence. Just do update us about what is on ground.
Yes, so the opposition and other political actors and players are concerned about the presence of military and police and some cases of violence in different areas where elections are ongoing. That is true. There have been some cases of arrests and journalists being beaten and confrontations between security and journalists in some areas. That is Kazo, Angola, and as well as the nearby polling station from where I am, that is Kawempe, Mbogo. There are still, I think, security is manning those areas after what we are trying to find out that caused the problem. But there are incidences of security taking over and arresting some actors, including journalists and some politicians in those two areas. Kazo, Angola, where we got to know that 2 MPs were arrested in the morning, and we have information that some other journalists from different media houses that have been arrested from Kazo, Angola still, and another polling station called Mbogo polling station near the big mosque in Kawempe. That is the incident. But where I am, yes, there have been some slight clashes. I'll call them slight because they didn't erupt into any fight or many arrests. There was just a young man who had voter identification slips, and some of the observers got concerned. They informed the security and he was taken for interrogation or arrest or something like that. It somehow sparked some voices, but the deployment quelled the situation, and there is some mood I would call calm, because we don't know what the few minutes later will hold, but that is the situation where I am. We don't know whether it will erupt into any other thing, but that is the situation. But since morning, it was a normal, good mood. Voters were coming in and casting their ballots and going away. Not until that happened. So far, that is the only incident. So apart from Kazo, Angola, Kawempe, Mbogo, and a few other areas where there have been some confrontations, that is the slight issue that has occurred here at Chilokole Zone, where I'm standing. Chilokole Zone is a playground that has 7 polling stations, and it is where the NUP candidate cast his ballot. That is Nalukola.
Commission's preparedness. What is the sense of the Electoral Commission's preparedness? How did most of the polling stations receive the electoral materials in time?
Yes, in the morning, my first stopover was at Makerere University, where the Electoral Commission is pitching camp, and that's where they have also mounted the tally center, where the final result will be announced at the end of this whole exercise. So we talked to the returning officers, that is the one for Kampala in general, and the other for Kampala regional, Kampala metropolitan, and they all confirmed to us that in the wee hours of the night, they packed all the materials that are required for this election in the presence of agents of all the political parties that are party to this election. And early in the morning, they dispatched to the different, to the 197 polling stations that are in Kawempe North, where people have been part of the elections today. So they dispatched them early in the morning at around between 4 to 5 a.m. and no, at least anywhere have we heard of a complaint of lack of voter material, absence of manpower, booklets that are missing, boxes that are missing. I think it is a general kind of issue that every polling station received all the materials they expected and required to have the election held, and at least there is no gap in such a line.
Now we can see a few people streaming in to cast their vote. What has the voter turnout been since morning till this time?
Yes, in my personal view, I would say the voter turnout, it is around, it's 1 p.m. But if my cameraman can give you a glimpse of this ballot box just behind me here, it is almost getting full. You get? And that is the kind of picture of all the ballot boxes here. There are 7 of them. So since 8 a.m., all of them are almost getting filled to capacity. So in my view, I would say the voter turnout is averagely okay, fair. You get? But according to the NRM Electoral Commission chairman, that is Dr. Tanga Odoi, he was here and we talked to him live on UBC TV. He said, in his view, the turnout was low. So did the Electoral Commission leader of the NUP, A1 Sebufu John Mary, also said the turnout was low. But they made that conclusion at around midday, not even midday. It was at around 10:30 a.m., 11. So personally, in my view, people have been coming in. I was here by 8:30. They opened the boxes and everything in our presence. And we witnessed, we actually talked to the very first voter that cast his ballot in this box. So, if it is this full, and all the boxes here, the 7 of them are this full, personally, I wouldn't say the turnout is low. Secondly, it is a working day, people coming in, 2, 3, 10, they cast their ballot and go away, cast their ballot and go away since morning. So, in my view, it is fairly a good turnout, but players within the political parties did not appreciate it. So, that is the mood. I would say, actually, I will take my view, but I will also give you their view.
Thank you, Jordan. You have had, I believe, a chance to speak to some of the voters at the polling station where you are. What are some of the things they are saying and observing?
Okay, voters here in this area have had complaints and fears of arrests and brutality and being beaten and being arrested. Since morning, that's the fear. When they see a police officer, they all get to stand up. They are all in shock and worried and what. So there is a lot of fear, I would say, among our people. They are always worried and scared that somebody is going to arrest them, something is going to happen. That is one observation I've made. But the other observation, people are so vigilant when it comes to elections currently. As the electoral officials were opening these boxes and taking the voters through whatever they had and how it is going to be used, people knew everything and they were asking a lot of questions, so vigilant, inquisitive, and they are interested in knowing everything. So that is how I would describe the voter we have today. But we've talked to so many of them who are only having negative feelings about deployments and security and that, but they are willing to be part of the electoral exercises and all that comes with it.
To date on this Kawempe by-election. Now back to earlier in the day, our reporter Philip Aguta was at the Electoral Commission to witness the dispatch of electoral materials despite inconsistencies on late arrival of voting materials in some of the polling stations. Let's take a look at that.
That's why I was answering right.
Where the stores for electoral mission is, and this is where the voting materials are being stored, and right now they are just dispatching the voting materials to go to Kawempe Division North, where the by-election is going to take place today, Thursday the 13th of March. And what you are seeing here are the police officers who are providing security to this ballot, the voting materials. Now, as you can see, it is a combination of voting materials. There is the ballot box. Inside that ballot box, there are voters registrar is inside there, the biometric machines where people are verified to vote. The machine is inside that ballot box, and there are also the ballot papers which are all inside, and hundreds of pickups, the Electoral Commission pickups, they have parked here and they are loading these materials. Right now you see every pickup has a driver and a police officer plus the supervisors who will be delivering these voting materials to each and every polling station. Now this is Kazo, Angola, where there's also voting for councillors. So all polling stations in Kazo, Angola has at least 2 ballot boxes and 2 casting materials. That is the basin and the box where the people are casting the votes. And from here now we shall be updating you on every activity which will be taking place today. At least what I know is the voting is starting at 7 a.m. in the morning and will stop or end at 4 p.m. in the evening. From there, then the Electoral Commission will be receiving the results from different polling stations at Makerere School Institute of Health, and that's where the results will be later announced after collecting all the results. So my name is Aguta Philip, and for us, we never blink an eye because we were waiting for this moment to come, and as I speak, we are now in Banda. As you can see, the officers are ready to provide security to this exercise, and from here at 7 we shall also be in Kawempe to give you the opening of these voting materials, and of course in the day we shall be updating you on each and every activity that will be taking place until these results for Kawempe Division North by-election will be announced later at the night of this day. Thank you so much. My name is Philip Aguta. Let's keep in touch.
All right, now more candidates in the Kawempe North by-election are speaking out on how the day and the polling day is going. Let's take a look at that.
Thank you very much. One, we had the distribution. At first we had the pack.
Auntie, never uncle, ubuze ku stencil eno. Yake I
Evelyn Athieno Wandera. I happen to be one of the supervisors in Bwaise 1 parish. We are here to supervise the Kawempe North by-election, but particularly I'm supervising, one of the supervisors in Bwaise 1. We have been here in time. We brought the electoral materials in time. Actually, we are here by 5:30. By 7, all the polling centers had been set. We were only waiting for the polls to commence. The law is very clear. We can only commence polls when 10 people are around who vote in that very polling station, who witness. So we were waiting for the 10 voters who have eventually come, because we have around 5 polling stations in the center where I am. And so far, around 3 of them, polls have commenced here. And then
can see the process is going on well. People are lining up orderly. Even the polling constables, I can say they are not stressed, because they tell people what to do and people are following their instructions.
Oh, menene wange.
I'm from casting my vote at St. Paul Church polling center. The way the situation is, it's very calm, and people are coming though slow, the number is not so much as we expected, but we expect maybe a few hours later, people will be coming, because in the morning they go for work, so, you know, this is a surviving city. So most of the voters, I'm sure they are yet to come. But at the moment, the place is calm. I'm from casting my vote peacefully, and I'm sure my voters are coming to cast votes. From here, I'm going to, of course, to my center, where I'll be monitoring all the polling stations, coordinating with my agents, my coordinators, so that we keep coordinated until 5 when they start counting, and then I'm expecting a win, of course. We are ready to rejoice thereafter. I'm calling upon my voters, my supporters to come in big numbers. Please come and keep time, because our symbol is a clock. We definitely have to be exemplary and keep time. I call upon you to come and cast your vote, and then you go and prepare. However, you need to come, and after voting, don't be far. Be near to protect your vote, because there are tendencies we are looking, and according to what happened yesterday, where they were pre-ticking the ballot papers. We need to be vigilant. The security is alert. I'm calling upon the Electoral Commission to really be neutral, to follow up so that we have a smooth election. It is the day that we've been waiting for, 13th. It will end and Kawempe North will remain. We therefore need a smooth election so that we are able to keep our place, our.
Now the situation remains calm in Kawempe North as voters queue and long in lines to vote for candidates of their choice who will represent them in the 11th Parliament. The MP-ship position for the constituency fell vacant in January when MP Mohamed Sedrinya died after a long illness. Earlier in the day, UBC team engaged with the regional returning officer for the Electoral Commission, Masinguzi Tolbert, on the state of affairs as the voting rages on.
Thank you very much. One, we had the distribution. At first, we had the packing of the ballot papers in the presence of the agents of candidates, all the political camps. We sealed. We have availed agents and the candidates a packing list showing all the serial numbers of the ballot papers and at what polling station they have gone to. We have also availed them seals, serial numbers of the seals that have been used to lock the black box. Today,
that is proof to be brought out in case of anything?
Yes. Wow. So that in case you are doubting anything, the first thing is to do is to find out whether the box is sealed. If the box is not sealed, then reach us out. Today morning, we have distributed polling materials to all the 197 polling stations. As we talk now, all polling stations in Kawempe have polling materials. So they have arrived, the ballot papers were sealed. So to Electoral Commission, we are already safe on ground. And we have security teams which are helping us to ensure that the exercise goes on well.
Okay. What would be your message to your staff especially?
No, my staff is one, to remain professional, as our code is, to remain transparent, and to follow the rules. To the voters, maintain peace, come vote. After voting, go home. Those who want to keep around, there's a distance we're supposed to keep. Be orderly when you're keeping that distance, and we shall have a peaceful exercise.
Thank you so much, Tolbert. I don't want to ask you too much, because we shall ask you too much by the end of the day. Thank you so much. Yes, his name is.
And with that, let's take a quick break. When we return, more details.
Unstoppable. kama nemo pocket tambula body street issues are my target.
We are what? Unstoppable. We are what? Unstoppable.
I'm in a plantation but on a global mission, internet ambition, full condition.
We are what? Unstoppable. We are what? Unstoppable.
Oro cash is gone, netaga yo kaloni, niga mukafoni, money in the zone.
We are what? Unstoppable. We are what? Unstoppable. We are
with you and MTN together, our ambition is unstoppable.
We are what? Unstoppable!
Amazina ganje Inyetekwa Seruhanga John Bosco ninduga mu district ya Rukungiri ryo muhanguzi wa miliyoni 18 na Uganda National Rotary nzahangwire urwo mu kuzana star 278 hash ngafuna message eriko kamunje muhanguzi nashemererwa konka nabaza kugira ngo nedi y'abafere sente ziriyo zone bakaziteka ko nazihangwire.
Uganda National Lottery. Dream, play, win.
Participants must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The Uganda National Lottery is operated by Ituba Uganda and regulated by the National Lotteries and Gaming Regulatory Board.
Amazina ntino Mchisha Grace Chibina baracheta Nyabare Women's Goats Rearing Group.
My name is Tino Mchisha Grace and I am part of Nyabare Women Goats Rearing Group, consisting of 30 women. We initially started with a plan to rear goats, but we faced some financial constraints. Fortunately, the UWEP program came to our aid. With the funds we received, we were able to purchase 30 goats.
Twaprayinga twakora ibiri kugendererwaho byona sente twazitunga twagure mbuzi 30 twarwanisa kugira ngo tushashure sente ezo.
We were determined to repay the loan even if it meant not making any profits initially. As the goats started giving birth, we sold the offsprings. A portion of the earnings was deposited into the bank and the balance was shared among our members to improve their living standards.
Uburyo umare kuranisa nko kwari kubasa.
We are what? Unstoppable. We are what? Unstoppable.
Katindi mu market kama nemo pocket tambula body street issues are my target.
We are what? Unstoppable. We are what? Unstoppable.
I'm in a plantation but on a global mission, internet ambition, full condition.
We are what? Unstoppable. We are what? Unstoppable.
Oro cash is gone, netaga yo kaloni, niga mukafoni, money in the zone.
We are what? Unstoppable. We are what? Unstoppable. We are good. With MTN. We are what? Unstoppable.
With you and MTN together, our ambition is unstoppable.
We are what? Unstoppable.
Amazina ganje Inyetekwa Seruhanga John Bosco ninduga mu district ya Rukungiri ryo muhanguzi wa miliyoni 18 na Uganda National Rotary nzahangwire urwo mu kuzana star 278 hash ngafuna message eriko kamunje muhanguzi nashemererwa konka nabaza kugira ngo nedi y'abafere sente ziriyo zone bakaziteka ko nazihangwire.
Uganda National Lottery. Dream, play, win.
Participants must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The Uganda National Lottery is operated by Ituba Uganda and regulated by the National Lotteries and Gaming Regulatory Board.
Amazina ntino Mugisha Grace. Kibina barachetanya bare Women's Goats Rearing Group.
My name is Mugisha Grace and I am part of Nyabubare Women Goats Rearing Group, consisting of 30 women. We initially started with a plan to rear goats, but we faced some financial constraints. Fortunately, the UWEP program came to our aid. With the funds we received, we were able to purchase 30 goats.
Twaprayinga twakora ebiri kugendererwaho byona sente twazitunga twagura embuzi 30 twarwanisa kugira ngo tushashure esente ezo.
We were determined to repay the loan, even if it meant not making any profits initially. As the goats started giving birth, we sold the offsprings. A portion of the earnings was deposited into the bank, and the balance was shared among our members to improve their living standards.
In a nation hungry for truth, a world where every story matters, there exists a beacon of trust and reliability. For decades, they've been our voice and our window to the world, holding the mirror of our history. With 4 TV stations and 11 radio channels spanning 27 languages, they stand as guardians of information, defenders of truth. With Maskari Heritage Advantage, they uphold every citizen's right to reliable and free information. Their archive stories shaped our past and illuminate our present. Yet now, as new challenges arise and the world evolves, their mission faces its greatest test yet. Be part of our journey and let's navigate the unknown, uncover the untold, and safeguard our future together. Tune into your public broadcaster, for it is the intersection of trust and truth. Because to UBC, your story, and every voice matters. UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Welcome back. Kampala Returning Officer Henry Makebai earlier in the day was at the designated Makerere University Tallying Center, where the tallying of votes from different polling stations will be deposited for the final tallying and announcing of the winner. Our reporter Jordan Lukoma spoke to Makebai. Let's take a look.
Live on UBC TV, give us a picture of how the day has begun and how far in as far as the process is concerned.
Good morning, viewers of UBC. Good morning, viewers of UBC TV. Yes. We have come to the D-Day when the polls are to start for the fulfilling of the vacancy of Member of Parliament for Kawempe Division North constituency, and the councillor, directly elected councillor, directly elected councillor for Kazo Angola A. We started packing the vehicles that were to dispatch the materials at 3 a.m. this morning, and we flagged them off from our warehouse at exactly 5 a.m. The purpose was to beat the jam that builds up normally, so that by 7 a.m., which is just a few minutes past, so we start opening the polling stations, opening the polls. So that's what prevailing so far, and so far all the teams have reached their destinations and they are trying to set up.
How many polling stations do we have in Kawempe North?
We have 197 polling stations.
How many voters are there in Kawempe North?
We have 199,064 voters.
Then the parishes?
We have 9 parishes.
So have you availed all the necessary equipment in the required quantities and quality? Because many times people complain, we have received votes of different parishes in our parish, we don't have biometrics, the manpower is not enough. As the Electoral Commission, are you ready in terms of all that?
We are ready in terms of equipment and facilities that they are supposed to have. We've sent all the ballot papers, all the forms that are supposed to be filled. We've also sent, for the first time, we've sent 2 biometric verification kits at each polling station, where one is for use initially, and in the event that it fails, we have a contingency measure, immediate, not having to call a mobile team that may bring for them. So each polling station is equipped with 2 biometric voter verification kits.
In many cases, this is now administrative. Your staff have been caught on the wrong side of handling the election processes. Have you prepared them well enough to ensure that nothing goes wrong?
The staff have been trained by our seasoned returning officers, and in addition, we have given them a support team whom we refer to as sitting supervisors. For every 2 to 3 polling stations, we have another supervisor besides the parish supervisor that is meant to handle that entire parish. So that's the kind of level of preparedness meant to ensure that everything that's going on at a polling station goes on smoothly without any interference.
What determined the choice of Makerere University as to mount your tally center here?
What determined the choice of Makerere University is that initially we did our nominations at our office in Kawempe, but the entry to that office is quite narrow given the kind of traffic flow that we would have today. But you know, the law requires that we tally our results in an electoral district, and this is part of the electoral district. The other option would have even been the office of the returning.
And Bukimbiri County MP Eddie Kwizera is driving sustainable development and community welfare by enhancing access to healthcare markets and boosting local trade through key infrastructure projects. Local leaders have hailed the transformative impact of the initiative, commending residents who contributed land and expressing optimism for accelerated economic growth.
Transportation. Even now sick people, they are going to be able to afford good means of transport, because this road, even you couldn't carry a person. If you have a motorcycle, you go alone, then someone else find you somewhere.
Residents of Nyawishenya sub-county in Kisoro district are celebrating the completion of a 6.2-kilometer road that links several trading centers within Bukimbiri and the wider region.
Very happy and grateful for the development Kwizera Honorable Eddie Wagahungu he has brought in this village, because now he has opened a road connection from Shunga village, Rubon, and now Kigezi. And now within those 3 villages, there are 3 trading centers. So which means the sub-county itself, the income is going to improve.
The project, personally funded by Bukimbiri County Member of Parliament Eddie Kwizera Wagahungu, forms part of a broader strategy to enhance community infrastructure. The upgraded road has already improved access to healthcare services and markets, benefiting residents such as Jovia Nyirahafa Shimana and farmer Hategeka Jerome.
None mazima twaturu kwishima tubonye kakahare ngo kagende karatuyamba kajane ababyeyi bacu bari kuja mu rwari. Jewe ndi kushima ahubwo uyu mugabo wazanye iki cyuma Kwizera Kahungu turi kumushima ibyo atukoreye kugira ngo tumize akakahare kugira ngo kagere hakamugemanye.
This place has been hard to reach, hard to stay, hard to work in, because the road network has been poor and even the terrain itself.
Local leaders, including LC Councillor Nigonteze Apollo, praised MP Kwizera's dedication to sustainable development and encouraged ongoing community support for long-term initiatives.
Itwe Kanyabwishenya turishimye cyane usanga MP twatoye Honorable Eddie Wagahungu kutandikira ku mihare yo yaturaganyije
Dan Semahoro, the area chairperson, and Innocent Bushimimana, a local head teacher, acknowledged the project's transformative impact.
We had no road going to the school, but together with the Honorable Electoral Gahungu, we managed to have that road put in place. And currently we're also putting in place a 2-classroom block, which is almost roofed.
District Councillor Ponciano Barry Hafi also commended residents who willingly provided land for the development.
Ndashima Honorable Edikwizera wa Kahungu kubw'amajambere ari kutuzanira gw'imihanda. Atukoreye umuhanda kuva Shunga village kunyura Rubona area.
The improved road network is anticipated to spur trade, enhance educational access, and uplift livelihoods.
Tufite imbogoya, ibitoke, avocados, ibikaju, amakara, umwanyi, ibyo byose twabura uko tubijana.
I'm Nafka Farida and Deo Habimana.
And now in business, to promote the adoption of Chira electric vehicles in Uganda's transportation sector, Chira EV Motors has launched a partnership with Rotary District 9-13 as its official mobility partner. His collaboration will facilitate the transportation of over 1,000 Rotary delegates during the centenary celebrations slated for April.
In a landmark effort to boost the commercial use of Chira electric vehicles and enhance end-user confidence, Chira EV Motors has signed a partnership with Rotary District 9213. From April 9th to 13th, Jinja will host over 1,000 Rotary delegates, and the partnership will see Chira electric vehicles used to transport them throughout the event.
So of course, during the conference, delegates able to experience firsthand, those who haven't, again, experience firsthand the advancements of electric vehicles in terms of technology, comfort, services across the Jinja region. During those 4 days, you'll be within Jinja.
The adoption of green transport at this upcoming Rotary conference marks a significant shift in consumer behavior.
Ours has been a lot about green, green, green. For most people, green starts and stops with trees. So this is yet going to be another example of how, the green agenda can be pursued. And I believe that after this conference, more people will be sold on to the EVs and maybe begin to order the EVs, particularly when they see the capacity here.
This partnership highlights the growing appreciation for local innovation and encourages local large-scale production. This collaboration is vital in fostering consumer trust and driving widespread adoption of Chira EV vehicles. This conference is expected to open up new sales channels.
And I believe that most of the people who come here will be excited to learn that the opportunities that exist around this plant are immense. And I think that after the conference, you'll probably have people sending expressions of interest on the kind of things that they can do. As you said, you're looking forward to a collaboration beyond the conference. I think that you will get very, very many Rotarians who are willing to work along that value chain.
And we're in Chira Motors to sign this partnership. It's an expression of having faith, believing that this is possible. And amongst us, there are some people who have never been here.
This Rotary conference will also provide a significant economic boost to Jinja, while showcasing the city's tourism potential.
This is now impactful for everyone. I mean, you just being in Jinja for the next 4 days, of course, that means there's an influx. I mean, hotels will be filled up.
Christmas, Arinitwe, UBC News.
And Angola says it will attempt to broker direct talks between the Democratic Republic of Congo and M23 rebels in the coming days. It was not clear if the DRC government would take part in discussions. However, the country's presidential spokesperson told Reuters authorities took note of this initiative, while an M23 deputy spokesperson called it a victory of reason and confirmed the group's presence at the negotiations.
Angola is engaging in mediation efforts between the Democratic Republic of Congo government and the M23 rebel groups. And this has been led by President João Lourenço. And the strategy involves contacting the M23 rebels to facilitate direct negotiation with the DRC government.
Now, the Congolese president paid a visit to Angola's president, João Lourenço, on Tuesday. What more do we know about their talks?
Well, it has been interesting. So far, it's twice in this month, President Tshisekedi has been visiting Angola for peace mediation talks. So what we know is that President Tshisekedi visit to Angola is for peace mediation. And these talks are related to conflict in Eastern DRC and the mediation between the DRC government and the M23 rebels.
Now, what else do we know? Do we know if the M23 rebels, the representatives from the Democratic Republic of Congo, and also the government, possibly representatives from Rwanda, may be able to join in the meeting when they discuss the peace negotiations and how to move Congo forward?
That's an interesting question. Angolan president said it will be contacting the M23 rebels to facilitate direct negotiation with the Democratic Republic of the Congo government. This suggests, just make an assumption here, this to many suggests that the M23 rebels are intended to be present or involved in the talks. The animation also between the Angola President João Lourenço and President Tshisekedi, but there's no indication so far that there will be a representation from the Rwandan government.
Well, and that does it for Lunchtime News. Thank you for sticking with us. I am Rhoda Ngonzi. Good afternoon.
UBC